Okay.
What is going on, everybody? The Chicago Bears fall to the Green Bay Packers 9-17 in a game that can only be described as in what is most probably Luke Getsy's final game. The Chicago Bears have a quarterback who only made 16 passes for an entire game. Maddie, how are you doing? I know you're not feeling very good right now.
No, I'm not good. I don't even have words. Oh,
Well, let's have a few words. Not enough passing. Protection didn't seem to hold up very well. In
no.
fact, the protection was almost non-existent, and then you had an offensive line that was not very good on third down. Now, there were plays, by the way, during the course of this game where I felt like the offensive line was not having a bad go of it. They seemed to be having a pretty decent run a number of times on first down. I believe I saw Roshan Johnson twice have, 5, 6, 7 yard carries. Same thing for Khalil Herbert. Didn't average out to a very good um, rushing game overall, but for that purpose, it sure felt like a game of missed opportunities and just a big whiff for the coaching staff. What do you think?
Are you talking to me or the live?
You
Oh,
guys, just in case, by the way, Maddie is furious right now
yeah.
because
Maddie
we
never.
really this has been a product of. I mean, I want to say what is it, 5, 7 weeks now? The Bears have looked like an entirely different team,
Yeah.
a much more capable, much more adept team. And today we get what we saw on the field, which the only way that I could describe it was, and I said this jokingly and in passing, but that this was the best game that Luke Getsy has ever coached for the Packers.
That's a good tweet.
Yeah.
I,
So let's
I
get an
just
update here.
genuinely don't get it. I don't get what was he like. What was he looking at? What was his game plan? What was the game plan? And it's really discouraging.
So let me, I guess, kind of break it down what I saw. Justin Fields went 11 for 16, 148 yards passing. Um, I think that the team wanted to establish the run first and foremost. And
Yeah.
then on your way in, guys, make sure you hit the like button. I appreciate that. But I thought that, generally speaking, at the beginning of this game, we were moving the ball down the field.
Yeah.
I thought that the team had a rhythm to it kind of early. I didn't like the way it felt for the defense going against the Packers. I felt like they were. I feel like if Matt Eberflus is calling these plays, he was getting grossly outcoached
Yeah.
for an extended period of time with the defense. He was sending four. He was keeping seven in coverage, but it was a soft cover two, and he was giving Jordan Love the time to make all of the passes and the throws that
Yeah.
he wanted to make.
Yeah.
And that seems to me to have been the biggest problem at the start of this. And then it just got worse. Then it just got worse from there because you play behind. Uh, you have to catch up. You're not, and I really think that what they wanted to do was go into Green Bay in hostile territory and run a very conservative game. And it
Mhm.
was the antithesis to what they should have been doing the entire time. I think that they should have been going for it. They should have been pushing it downfield. And to be fair, I'm not knocking the Green Bay defense or anything like that, but it really looked like when Justin Field was given just a little bit of time to throw downfield, he was pretty accurate. He was completing passes, and it seemed to me like let the guy drop back, let the guy throw it, let him be a gunslinger at a time where you really want a gunslinger to come through for your team. And I just felt like I couldn't believe that they missed the ball that poorly.
Yeah. I I just don't even like know what I watched. It like looks like a team I watched when I was at Soldier Field, and it's just really disappointing.
Well, let's we do have to be honest. The rushing game was not working. They ran a lot on first down, and at first we're having a little bit of success, and then that success started to wane. It started to die down. Roshan Johnson 5 carries for 20 yards, and I feel like he rushed on first down all 5 of those and had a nice run on
Yeah.
4 of those and got stopped on one of them. Khalil Herbert had a couple of runs, and here's how bad it feels. Khalil Herbert had 12 rushes for 28 yards, and I feel like 2 times he got 7 or 8 yards. So you have 10 carries for about 13 yards beyond that.
Yeah.
So there just seemed like there was no real strong rhythm. But then you start to look at Justin Fields, 11 of 16, 148 yards. Had he completed 30 passes or had he attempted 30 passes, he'd have a 300-yard receiving passing game. DJ Moore, 4 carries or four receptions, 64 yards, along with 33. Cole Kmet, along with 27, 3 carries or 3 catches. Equinemius got in the game. Khalil Herbert. By the way, in the fourth quarter, when Khalil Herbert actually made a catch, and it was a quarterback rollout. It was on first down, or it was on second down. And and at that point, I was looking at the screen thinking, like, why in the hell are we not rolling out and going to a running back? Like, this is the screen type game. This team is made for that. The Green Bay Packers don't stop that. And he rolls out and he passes it to Khalil Herbert, which I think at that point ends up going for about 14 yards.
Mhm.
And then it just makes no sense going forward. Not after that. So we're all sad today. But the
Yeah.
season's over. Bears finish 7-10. And now we move on to what really, really matters. And what really, really matters here, Maddie?
The draft for sure.
Getting this team to the level that every one of you Chicago Bears fans deserves. Every one of us Chicago Bears fans deserves. And everything that Maddie deserves.
I don't know what they're gonna do, and it's not like I hate the unknown. Like, ugh, I don't even know. Did we witness Justin Fields' last game as a Bear? Because like, part of me is thinking, yeah. I just don't think Ryan pulls this. Like, I don't think he's gonna take that big of a risk.
Well, so whether you go with Justin Fields or you go with Caleb Williams, you're taking a risk.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
He's going to look at this game and he's going to look at the game tape on Justin Fields and he's going to have 1 or 2 moments where he's going to say, you know what, Justin Fields could have been a little bit better on that. Maybe he could have made this play or that play or this play or that play. But I have a feeling, I have a distinct feeling that as these next 2 days unfold, next 3 days unfold, there's going to be a lot of people looking at Justin Fields saying, you know what, he was not the problem in this game. Justin Fields is not the issue here. Justin Fields did not cause this sort of heartbreaking ending. That
Hmm.
this is all coaching. This is all a problem of how you call a game and how you manufacture a game. If you run on first down every time and you get good yardage, then you're playing short on the sticks and you can, look, I mean, your ideal is you want to run, you want to get 5, 6, 7 yards on first down. On second down, you want to use a play action or you want to hand it off again. Too many times we handed it off again. That is really what it came down to. There was not enough. Uh, that's your shot to take that move downfield. There were a lot of times where I watched and I would see a handoff, and then I was like, okay, so this is an obvious passing situation if I want to make some yardage, and then I would see them hand off on a rush, and they're not rushing up the middle. They're trying to sweep it around the end. I just really think this was bad play calling everywhere. I think that Luke Getsy just didn't understand, or let me think. Luke Getsy understood the team that he had 2 years ago, or
Yeah, like
whatever it is, and he thought he was going to get the same thing, and he did not get it. He got a team that was here waiting to outguess him.
Mhm.
Kenneth McGregor says, I have a horrible feeling this was going to happen. I'll still think Fields should stay, but we need a far better OC at the bare minimum. And I would agree with that. What do we think? What do you think, Maddie?
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, it's unfortunate. Luke Getsy did not play to Justin Fields' strengths at all. Um, I was like screaming. I was like, "Why are we not throwing the ball?" And yeah, our O line was. I thought our O line was absolute garbage most of the
Yeah.
game. Absolute garbage. But I when all you're doing is running, like I just it's so bad. Like I don't know.
Well, here's what I want to say about that. I think that, this, if we had Deontay Foreman, and I think that he's a stronger runner than Khalil Herbert. I felt there were a
Mhm.
lot of times where Khalil Herbert was trying to scat a little too much rather than busting through the line. So that's my opinion, by the way. I don't really have any data to back that up at the moment. That's just an
Mhm.
opinion. But I felt like if somebody like Deontay Foreman was smashing into that line and dragging people for a few yards every single time, would have changed the dynamic of the way this game would have gone. This is a run first team.
Yeah.
This is a Justin Fields led team. We should be expecting them to run most of the time, 60% of the time, at least on first down, and probably on second and short. Again, 60% of the time, we should be expecting a run. So I don't think that at first this was bad. I don't think it started that way. I think it just ended up a little bit later on as we started to get behind a little bit and we started to air it out just a bit. Then I think we just kind of reverted back to, let's just try to keep running it and keep running it and keep running it. I would guess the logic here that he was going for. And by the way, Jericho, we did. I thought we were going to beat the Packers too. I was really look. I was saying they were going to dominate the Packers, and the team that for 5 or 7 weeks that we've been seeing would have been the team to dominate this Packers team, and we just didn't get them. I don't know why. Uh, I can't even fathom how somebody decided, that this is. Let's not do let's not do the things that got us to this dance. Let's get conservative. Let's play a different type game. We played a different type game. Cameron People says, absolute garbage. Imagine your O line being unhealthy at the beginning of the season, and at the end of the season, they're on IR again. We need to focus on buffing our line, offense and defense. Now, I'm going to say this: Tevin Jenkins got beat a couple times, and otherwise, he's had a great season.
Yeah.
Darnell Wright was rock solid. I want to even say Braxton Jones was not. He was serviceable as well. Dan Feeney was doing his best. I mean, he's the third option on this team. Well, he's the second option at this point. I think we're moving on from Cody White here, but Cody still gets a lot of PT. So, but he's the third guy. He's the third guy. So, yes, we need a little bit more on this offensive line. But if we go into the draft, and the question here was, where is Deontay Foreman? I believe, let me not say it yet, but let me go to the Bears communication channel. And I do think that he was listed as an injury scratch here a couple days leading up to it. No, I have no idea where he was. I
Oh,
don't
that's
know why he wasn't used. He looks like a silent scratch. And there could be something that we don't know about yet. But yeah, he was not. I kind of expected him to be there, and he was not. So,
yeah.
but again, that's no excuse. Khalil Herbert has to do more than 12 carries for 28 yards, and the offensive line, which had been, by the way, very dominant, very dominant, has to step up and really has to get. They have to get better. So now we look at the offseason. What do you guys think? Who is your number one guy going into this offseason? Are we going to go? Is this is this the moment that we start looking at Caleb Williams, or is this where we go, Justin Fields, you did enough to convince us? I think that he's done enough to convince us. But what do you guys think? Is Justin Fields the guy going forward, or what? Maddie, what do you think?
I I mean, I just I think you have to stay with him. I just don't think you restart, but like I really don't know what Ryan Poles is going to do. Like I was reading up on it about like the Kansas City situation,
Yeah.
and how they won their conference, and I know the quarterback was 37 at the time that they had, and they were still very good, and he when he was a part of that staff, he ended up picking Patrick Mahomes, and look at what that's done. I just I really think Justin Fields could be very, very good in this league, but Luke Getsy just does not work well. And I mean, you have to be honest. Like, there's just no targets besides Cole Kmet and DJ Moore consistently. Like I thought Scott played okay, but still not enough. And it's just it's hard because we didn't really even get that many throws today, like passes. There was just nothing. It's just ugh, it's bad, bad, bad.
So, what do you think then? Now it's time to pick a draft because that's the game, right?
Yeah.
We got to figure out what comes next in this draft. So we're gonna be looking forward to the future, and look, there's a lot of consensus. I saw a few draft reports this morning, and a lot of people, a lot of smart people say that this man right here is now the number one overall pick. That Marvin Harrison Jr. is coming to the Bears, and that's going to be their big pick. That's going to be the guy. And what do you think about that one? Does that fix enough of the problems?
I would say no. I just don't think it fixes everything.
All right, let me go back here. Let me try this. A week ago, you trusted Ryan Poles complicitly because Ryan Poles had put together what you think is a bunch of great picks, a bunch of great free agency pickups.
Yeah.
Montez Sweat, presumably we're going to re-sign Jalen Johnson. He did get Tyreek Stevenson. He's kept Justin Fields for this time. So Darnell Wright is here because of him. Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker was on his. So what's changed in a week? And if nothing's changed in a week, then you're just feeling bad because we took a loss, an undeserved loss. We
I'm
should have won that
sensitive.
game.
Okay, I'm sensitive. Um, but I think it comes into play like the Packers really expose us. Do you blame the coaching for the whole loss? I don't know because the O line is trash.
Okay, but again, if we break this down, Tevin Jenkins had a great year. Darnell Wright had a great year.
Yeah.
Lucas Patrick had an okay year. Larry Borum was very bad. However, Braxton Jones was at least passable. You had the makings of a decent offensive line. Here's the problem. If I know it's not the offensive line, or at least it's not completely the offensive line. If I know what's going to happen, then I know what I'm going to do. If I'm a defensive coordinator, if I'm a guy out here, and it's my job to figure out what you're going to do, and I know you're going to run, I'm going to rush 7 and
Yeah.
keep back 4. Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. And Bologna Fonseca, he is absolutely on point. Tevin Jenkins, up until today, has been pretty good, but
Yeah.
he gave up 2 key sacks in this game. And Kenneth McGregor is probably saying the same thing that I'm saying right now, that this is the very best game that Luke Getsy ever coached for the Packers.
Yeah.
Absolutely in every way. Draft MHJ and every offensive lineman possible. I mean, that's look. I
I
mean,
wish.
So here's what I want to say. Okay, I don't agree with that. I disagree fundamentally with getting a whole bunch more offensive linemen, and I'll tell you why. I think that the biggest problem here is we're not scoring enough points. So let's
Yeah.
just assume we get Marvin Harrison Jr. My guy, you know who I'm going to say, that comes in right after that is Jared Verse.
Yeah.
I think Jared Verse is a game-changing defensive lineman. I think that if we could get him at 10, that would be a remarkable pickup for the Chicago Bears. I think that would be just the absolute what they call the bee's knees, if you will,
Yeah.
uh, of, of choices. And then, if not, let's reach out and let's get Malik Neighbors. Let's get two standout wide receivers
Yeah.
so that we got a 1, 2, 3 option, and then you've got that 1, 2, 3, 4 punch with Cole Kmet. Centers that are going into free agency. I think the Miami center 2024 free agency. We can look at this, but I think that there are a couple of centers that we can get in free agencies that are not outside of that are not outside of unrestricted. We want a quarterback. We want a center. And let's update that list here. We got we got Travis Kelce's brother Jason. I don't know that we want. He's a little expensive there. Connor Williams, Andre James, Aaron Brewer, Lucas Patrick. I think we're going to move on from Lucas Patrick. But a Connor Williams and Andre James and Aaron Brewer, get a younger guy for a couple years. Get a nice. Let's get a let's get a center in free agency. Let's pick up a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. Let's pick up either Malik Neighbors or Roma Dunzi. And I'm not a big fan of Roma Dunzi. I would prefer Malik Neighbors. I think he's a more physical receiver and a better route runner overall. So that would be my pick. But if not, I want Jared Verse. I want somebody to complement that the defensive line. And my summary to that was we're rushing 4. If we're not putting pressure on the quarterback and we're allowing him to play, then the 4 guys that we have doing it are not getting there. Montez Sweat, sure, he was making a push. We had DeMarcus Walker he had a sack today and got there, but how many plays did he really get there? Gervon Dexter, how many times did we really see him get an opportunity to make a play? And I don't think that was enough. I don't think that was enough at all. So what I would be saying is we need a bookend. We need somebody with a motor that won't quit. Now, if you feel like that guy going into next season is Yannick Ngakoue and not DeMarcus Walker, then fine. When Yannick comes back, then maybe we've got that guy. But he
What?
wasn't that guy. He got a ACL, or he was out for the season. He's on IR, so he was gone for the season. And I think it was an ACL or something like that. But he was gone, or broke his ankle. I'm sorry, he broke his ankle towards the end of the season.
Uh,
So
I could.
he comes back, then I think that maybe he was a good compliment to Montez Sweat. But I don't think he's a true athlete. I don't think that he's one of those game changers. So I would be looking for a game changer with a motor, and that would lead me to Jared Verse if available. And then beyond that, I mean, guys, you can fill in a roster with the number of picks. Now, the other piece is the Bears are going to pick number 1. And the draft order, I got to hire somebody for this now.
Seriously, actually.
But the Bears got the number 1 pick, and then we've got the Washington Commanders at the number 2, and we've got the New England Patriots at number 3. So who gets the next pick? Where do we, who do we end up with there? And to be fair, I think both of them need a quarterback. So if we could get a deal where they're going to take a quarterback, a Caleb Williams, and we could get Marvin Harrison Jr., then you're talking about a big trade, a big move that would, I think, would do a great job and go a long way towards improving this team. So maybe we make that trade.
I don't know. I need a countdown for the draft, though. I need that calendar. That
I think it's going to be April.
damn, that's way too far.
Hold on. Let's see. 109 days. There you go.
Oh my God. It's way, way too far. I
We
gotta
got
write.
109 days of talking about it. And look, there's going to be, as a matter of fact, I did see a couple of them this morning, and I didn't go through them because I was at the gym working out. But I did see that people were taking Caleb Williams a lot lower in the draft all of a sudden, that he was no longer a lock at number one. And I think some of it had to do with the Bears and a lot of feeling that Marvin Harrison Jr. was going to be the guy. But, um,
I
you
mean,
know,
if Ryan Poles thinks that he is a generational athlete and he can change this offense and get us more points, take him, like just take him. We have a solid roster. I mean, there are major holes in it, but I don't know. I'm still really, really mad.
all right. Well, here's what I need you to do, Maddie. I need you to fix the Bears. Okay. So you tell me, what are we going to do? Quarterback. You got to make a decision. What are you going to do?
I'm staying with Justin Fields.
All right. Then who do you draft at number one? Or do you trade down? Which
I
one of
just
those plays are you going to do?
I think if they were to make a deal where the other two picks, one of them wants the quarterback, you trade down, and then you can get more at least because there are more holes than just that situation. You trade down, but if you're not going to get a deal, like I just don't know if you can sacrifice giving up, a talent like that. If we're really thinking he is the deal, Marvin Harrison Jr. is the deal, I think you got to go for it. We do have the 10th pick secured, right? We might
Hmm?
even jump up because we lost. I think. I don't know. I read something about that.
Yeah, it might be pick 9 or 8, something like that on a
So
tiebreaker.
really good there. I I don't know. I'm
Well, let's
getting
see what
like
the let's see what the updated order is because this game is over.
yeah.
It's possible that there's 3 minutes ago. So the Bears are number one, and the Bears are number 9. So that's how it's going to end. It'll
Okay.
be
So
the
basically,
Bears, the Commanders, the Patriots, the Cardinals, the Chargers, the Giants, Titans, Falcons, then the Bears again, and the Jets. So
God, you can get so much, if you really like you could get a lot. It's just what do you think is the most important?
well, I think the most important thing is getting somebody like it. And even though I agree with Marvin Harrison Jr., you got to move on from Darnell Mooney. You got to move on. I mean, Tyler Scott is going to be your backup. He's on a rookie
Yeah.
contract, so you got him for another 3 years if you need a backup. But then you get Malik Neighbors or you get Roma Dunzi. Now the problem with Roma Dunzi is he's a natural a one or a two, so he couldn't play that three position, the inside. I don't think that he's that guy. Although he does have, I think he runs something like a 4.2640. So who the hell knows? I mean, he might be an absolute burner, but I think Malik Neighbors becomes your go-to guy in this offense. And I think that, and by the way, I think we get rid of Luke Getsy, and I think the offense will become better just by virtue of him not being here. And I don't want to be disrespectful to the best coach the Packers have, but he's really done no credit to anybody in here. I don't think that anybody is a better player today than they were 2 years ago by virtue of being in Luke Getsy's system.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and now I guess if I'm Kevin Warren, then I'm going to stick with Ryan Poles because I like him. I think he's done
Yeah.
a decent job of putting this together. I would, and I think I told you this about a month ago. I would be sitting down with Matt Eberflus and telling you, Luke Getsy can't be here anymore.
Yeah.
You've got to do something, and you're on the clock as well. My job is to make this team a contender, and I intend to do that. Kevin is entrusting me with this opportunity, so I need you to find me a defensive coordinator that I approve. I need you to find me an offensive coordinator that I approve. And if you can do that, then you stay and you're the coach of the Chicago Bears. But Matt, if you don't like the fact that I'm going to be involved in this hiring process, then you can't be the coach here. And that's okay, but I need to know now because it's time for the decision. And I want to at this point, I want to support the fans. I owe them because I didn't deliver for them this season. And
Yeah.
this team is nothing without its fan base. So I'm sticking with Justin. If that's okay with you, then you know what I mean. Like I would be laying it out if I'm Ryan Poles, that's how I would be laying it out. DJ's going to be back. Uh, I'm gonna uh, Khalil's going to be back. I'm going to have all these guys. You know the roster. You know who's going to be here. You know who's not going to be here. We're going to replace center. Lucas wasn't cutting it. Cody's gone. I would, and Eddie Jackson. I love him, but he's got to go. You know
He's
what I mean?
got
We
fucking
got to
go.
pick somebody up, and we can pick up. We can draft somebody. We can do something, but at this point, he cannot be here anymore. So I would be. I would at least try to be honest with him.
Yeah.
And from there, whatever he does, I would then say, um, this is whether or not you are here anymore or not. Like that's it. You decide who you want to be. By the way, I do have the
Oh,
hit here,
it. Don't
and I
even.
don't think that's illegal. By the way, that's not an illegal hit. That is a shoulder to shoulder. I probably would have flagged Owens on this play because it looks like Justin Fields is already in his
That's
slide,
yeah.
and that even though he's in his slide, Owens is still trying to give him a nudge. And you either protect your quarterbacks or you don't protect your quarterbacks. And if we're protecting our quarterbacks, then that's not a play that I would like.
Yeah.
I would have flagged that, but I don't think that it was an illegal hit.
I he was already sliding, like I just think that sucks.
Right, but here's the move right here. All right, he's going into the slide right now. Owens is going into his crouch right now. Now, if Owens is trying to hurt Justin Fields, Owens would be leaning into him, right? Now, watch what Owens hits. His back. He's leaning away from him at this point. See, he's not hitting him like a normal hit. See, that's his back. He's trying to pull up on the play because he knows what's getting ready to happen. So I don't think that this was. I don't like it,
Yeah,
but I don't think
I
that that's illegal.
don't know.
But
I'm just a little fed up.
every other quarterback in the NFL gets a flag here. Apparently, not Justin Fields. Does that seem right? Because it seems right to me.
Seems right to me, yeah.
I would think that everybody. This is it. The Justin Fields era is over, is what this person is saying. 0 seasons over 2,500 yards, more turnovers than passing touchdowns, 10-27 record, 6-6 without him, 3 injuries, 0-6 versus the biggest rival, a vegan. I'm not sure why that's. I'm not sure why that's included, but hey, he's in Chicago. I mean, you got to eat Italian. You got to eat the beef sandwiches, and you got to eat the hot dogs, right? Ran real fast sometimes, and slides real far in rain for cool photos. Probably not a fair assessment of him, but that's some of it that's going around right now. That's some of the what do you call them, chowder heads. Now let's look at what would we be getting if this were the guy. This is what Caleb Williams is doing. Now that play right there, that only happens. That play right there that we just saw, that only happens because he's playing in college.
Yeah.
A real quarterback is not going to allow him to make that. This is only happening because he's in college. That's only happening because he's in college and nobody's covering. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these things that you see here, I just that ability is really nice though, and that's a great pass. Now, is that a Justin Fields type play right there? He throws the guy down. I mean, I don't think we're going to be missing too much. In the event that Caleb Williams becomes that guy, this is what we're looking at right here.
I mean, I just think Justin Fields is capable of doing all of that.
Well, I would agree, but I think the question I think the question in this regard, when you look at this guy versus Justin, is how much you have to pay. You're gonna have to pay this guy $9 million for 4 years, and as long as he doesn't make the Pro Bowl, 27, 28 million for the fifth year. But with Justin, you got one more year here at about 6 million. You got the next season at 23 to 25 million. And then after that, you got to pay him the big bucks. So, the question becomes, do you reset or not?
Yeah,
And I think that we as fans are tired of resetting. I think that
I
we don't want to do that anymore. We want to see what we can do with what we've got. Monty Blue says we got out coached today. That is fair enough, man.
totally agree.
I would think that's about as legitimate as it gets. We got absolutely out coached today
Yeah,
in every facet of the game, by the way.
I agree.
But Caleb Williams represents the same thing, I think, as Justin Fields. He represents that. He represents that cannon arm. Hopefully, with some accuracy, if he's the guy. And if not, then he's got the scrambling ability, and maybe we'll make something of it. Otherwise, we got Justin Fields for ever and a day. I want to say, like, is he always just going to be a bear? Are we always just going to be like
I would
Justin
love.
Fields is our guy?
Hey, if he can lead us to a Super Bowl, I don't care. Extend him, but
uh,
who knows? I mean, it just shows how weak developing we are at the QB position. I think it. Why would Caleb Williams want to even come here?
because it's only for 4 years.
Yeah, and then you
Four or
get
5 years, maybe. I mean, you're coming out of college. It doesn't really matter. You don't really have a say, or you don't have much of a say in where you get drafted. Like, it doesn't work that way. You're not a free agent.
yeah, I know.
So, and you would secure, by the way, because I think that there was a time, I don't remember, it escapes me, but somebody got drafted and they were like, I'm not playing for that team. And I want to say it was like Tampa Bay or something, and they went back to school.
That's
So, so now you have to declare and hire an agent, because if you hire an agent, then you run out of eligibility. So
yeah.
if you say I'm declaring for the draft, but I'm not hiring an agent, then
You can
people
go.
take that as you're probably not coming out. You're waiting for that right offer. So
Well, I have to go get ready for this week and prep everything. I'm sorry. I just really am. I'm over it.
the Bears finished the season at 7-10.
Yeah, there is improvement. There really is, but I wanted that way.
We all wanted that win. We all wanted to see a much better product than what we got on the field. They ended up third in the NFC North, behind the Green Bay Packers that they fell to today, 17-9, and behind the Detroit Lions. I can't believe the Detroit Lions had a
Supposed
better season.
hosting the Jets.
But listen, let's take a moment and just consider here. There was an opportunity to beat the Buccaneers. There was an
Oh,
opportunity here to beat the Broncos. There was an opportunity to beat the Vikings. There was an opportunity to beat the Saints.
true.
There was an opportunity to beat the Lions the first time. There was an opportunity to beat the Browns. And well, fair enough, there would have been an opportunity to beat the Packers here. Now, when you look at this is, let's call it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that could have gone a whole lot better. And if you just take to within a touchdown, then there were 5 games. And if they had just found a way to win all 5 of those games, we'd be talking about a 12-5 team that's the number one team in going into the playoffs. So I want to say, and I want to posit the argument that the Chicago Bears are not that far away from being an elite team. All we have to do, take a deep breath, let the process play out, let it, quote unquote, marinate for just a little while, and let's see what happens.
You're right.
All right. Well, we ended up with a much better second half than first half, like I told you, but it didn't end the way we wanted. So What does this mean? We're going to forget this, by the way. I want everybody to know we're going to forget this moment. We're going to forget the pain of this loss because this was a painful loss for a lot of people. But we're going to forget this one. We're going to move on. And the next thing you know, we're going to see this Chicago Bears team come out and they are going to shock the world next year. They're going
God,
to be a much better, more capable, much more disciplined team with a lot more energy. And look, when you lose all those close games, generally you win those games the next year. So this is a team that's on the cusp of a breakout. So didn't end on the best of terms, but guess what? We got a lot of draft analysis to go over. Maddie's got a lot of crying to do right now
I
and kicking some shit around. And then we'll be back tomorrow and we'll wrap up the season. And, you know, stop
yeah,
playing with your hair. I'm not going to stop playing with my hair.
sorry. I'm like I do that. It's a nervous habit.
I
Okay.
know you're sad. This is Sadie. This is not Maddie.
No, it's not. I'm just really mad.
All right, guys. That's it for right now. For Bleeves, see you guys later.
All right, it's Maddie. See y'all.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.